She get mad if someone doesn't respond to her right away, but she blows people off all the time. If she texts me and I don't respond within 10 minutes, she is like hello, but she can go days without responding to me. She gets angry if the father of her child doesn't respond or let her know things when he has their son, but then when she has him, she doesn't answer the father. She will never make plans or will change things last minute, but you can never do that to her. She is constantly negative, but you say something like, "I hope there isn't traffic," she will get angry and say, "Don't be negative." She criticizes people, but you say any word to her, she will leave, kick you out, or say not cool. She will always speak for my husband or my dad to my mom and I. Like we say, "Let's go this restaurant," and my husband will not be too excited about it, and she will yell at me and say he doesn't want to go, leave him alone. Or if my mom tells my dad to not saying something he shouldn't say, she will chime and let him say what he wants. She has no tolerance. I do her a huge favor to drive her or the city and back because she didn't want drive, and the way home I got off on an exit that took longer, and the whole way she will moan and groan, moving weird in her seat. I just went to get home over and over again. You said you knew where you were going. Why weren't you paying attention? I should have just drove. So it took us 15 or 20 minutes longer, and she can't handle it. In many families, emotional flare-ups are as routine as dinner. But what happens when one person's reactions create a storm that reflects their own behavior? What happens when someone gets angry not because others wronged them, but because others are mirroring the very things they do? This is the story of one family's unraveling journey with a pattern that is as confusing as it is common: a sister who becomes furious when others do what she does to them. It began quietly. Then it became loud. My sister gets angry at everything she does to other people, says Maya, a 25-year-old graphic designer who lives with her older sister Tara in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Bangalore, India. Maya pauses before adding, "She interrupts people constantly, but the minute someone does it back, she explodes. She'll cancel plans last minute without a word, but if I ever reschedule anything, she accuses me of being selfish. This is not your average sibling rivalry. The pattern isn't just one of personality differences or isolated arguments. Maya believes she is witnessing a deeper psychological loop, one that affects the emotional health of their relationship. She projects her own actions onto others and reacts as if they are betrayal when they are often just the same thing she's done before. It's exhausting. Living with Tara, Maya says, often feels like stepping into a hall of emotional mirrors. It's like playing a game where the rules constantly change. And she's the only one who knows them or thinks she does. In one recent incident, Tara accused Maya of being inconsiderate and passive-aggressive for not replying to a message right away. But, Maya recalls, Tara herself often leaves messages on read for hours, even days. I pointed that out gently and she got livid. Said I was turning the blame around and not taking accountability. But that's exactly what she was doing to me. The dynamic, according to Maya, isn't about occasional hypocrisy or stress-based outbursts. It's more like she can't tolerate seeing herself reflected back. If you do what she does even unintentionally, it feels like you've hit a nerve she didn't know was there. To understand what might be happening beneath the surface, we spoke with Dr. Radhika Menon, a clinical psychologist specializing in family systems and emotional regulation. Projection is a defense mechanism, Dr. Menon explains. When someone feels uncomfortable with aspects of themselves, especially those they are unaware of or ashamed of, they might project those feelings or behaviors onto others. In Tara's case, if she frequently feels guilt about her own behavior but doesn't consciously acknowledge it, she might become hypersensitive when others do the same things. Her anger could be less about the act itself and more about the internal conflict it brings up, like holding up a mirror she doesn't want to look into. This phenomenon is particularly common in close relationships, where boundaries are often more fluid. Siblings, especially those who grow up under the same roof, can become mirrors for one another in ways that few other people can. They know your patterns. They see your contradictions. And they're not afraid to point them out, Dr. Menon adds. For Maya, being the emotionally stable one has become a role and a responsibility. I used to fight back, argue, get into yelling matches. But I realized early on that nothing I said would make her stop. It would just escalate. So I started backing down, staying quiet, avoiding topics, apologizing when I didn't even know what for. This emotional withdrawal is not uncommon in such family dynamics. Often, one person assumes the role of the peacemaker, suppressing their own needs and reactions in an attempt to keep the peace. But this too comes at a cost. I feel like I'm always editing myself, Maya says. I can't express when I'm hurt because she'll twist it. I can't say no because she'll say I'm being just like mom. It's exhausting. Over time, this constant emotional labor leads to resentment, burnout, and often silence. Tara's anger, Maya suspects, may be a language she learned early in life. Our dad was very controlling. If we didn't follow his rules, he'd lose it. I think Tara learned to yell before she learned to speak her needs calmly. But where some people break the cycle, others internalize and replicate it. Anger makes her feel powerful. She sees compromise as weakness. And if someone reflects her behavior back to her, she sees it as betrayal, not fairness. This is a common trauma response, says Dr. Menon. When people grow up in environments where vulnerability was punished or ignored, they often develop defense systems that reject accountability. Anger becomes armor. But this armor also isolates them. Maya isn't the only one affected by Tara's emotional patterns. Friends have pulled away. Cousins avoid family group chats. Even romantic relationships, Maya says, don't seem to last more than a few months. She complains that people don't understand her. But she doesn't seem to see how she pushes them away. When asked if she's ever tried to help Tara see this, Maya nods slowly. I've tried everything. Gentle talks. Letters. Even suggesting therapy. But she just says I'm gaslighting her or trying to make her feel crazy. And therein lies the heartbreak. People stuck in projection often view help as hostility and reflection as rejection. Maya has started thinking about moving out. I didn't want to leave her alone. I still don't. But I'm starting to realize that staying is hurting me more than helping her. This is a dilemma many family members face, the invisible line between support and self-sacrifice. Dr. Menon calls it compassion fatigue. When you've spent years managing someone's emotional dysregulation, there comes a point when you have to choose your own sanity over their stability. And that's not cruelty. That's survival. For Maya, the decision isn't just about logistics. It's emotional. I love her. But I also miss myself, who I was before all this tension. Though this story is specific, it reflects a broader truth. Families are often where our deepest emotional patterns are learned and repeated. When those patterns go unchecked, they can poison even the strongest bonds. Projection-based anger is not unique to Tara. In fact, psychologists say it's becoming more common in the age of social media, digital arguments, and identity politics. People are less self-aware, more reactive, and more isolated, Dr. Menon explains. It's the perfect storm for emotional projection to flourish. And when that projection turns into rage, even love can't break through. Not all stories like Maya and Tara's end in estrangement. With therapy, self-awareness, and mutual effort, relationships can heal. But both people have to want that change. Until she sees her part in all this, nothing will change, Maya says with quiet clarity. And I'm done waiting for her to wake up. She's not bitter. Just tired. And maybe that's the most tragic part, not the fights or the manipulation or the silence, but the slow erosion of love under the weight of unspoken truths. Families are supposed to be where we feel most ourselves. But sometimes they become the very places we lose ourselves. My sister gets angry at everything she does to other people, Maya repeats, almost like a mantra. And in that sentence lies 1,000 moments, fights, confusion, apologies never accepted, and love given too many chances. It's a story that ends quietly, not with a bang but with a sigh. Because not all wounds bleed. Some